Hi everybody, we're back. 4 o'clock action here. Winner's side, Derek Pogirski from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and from Canada, Nick Kruger. Should be an excellent match. Both these guys are fairly evenly matched in skill. And obviously they've been playing well enough to remain on the good side of the chart. So we should have some winner's side action for you here for the next few rounds. Nick Kruger won the leg. He'll break in rack number 1. And once again, this is the 22nd U.S. Bar Table Championships live from the Kamui Arena at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno, Nevada. Presented by CSI and sponsored by OB and by Kamui. Our equipment in use here this week, as it is always at CSI events, are diamond 7-foot tables with Pro Cut 4.5-inch pockets, Simonis 860 in Tour Blue, the Magic Ball Rack, and Cyclop pool balls. And we want to again express our gratitude to those 4 great companies for providing the best equipment in the business. So here we are, ready to go. Nick breaks. First rack. Second ball break. And a big mess on the right-hand rail. So let's have a look at the layout here and see what Derek might be thinking about. I'd be thinking about, geez, this is ugly. Neither group has really any appeal. Let's look at a potential opening shot. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot to do except possibly the 12 if it passes. And he may be forced to take the stripes whether he wants to or he doesn't. What he wanted to do was next play the 15 and go into that cluster, but because he's jacked up over the 14, he can't do it. He can still pocket this ball, but as far as breaking open the 11 and the 13, that's certainly not going to be easy to do. So I think he's got to shoot the 9 and then possibly shoot the 14 to get set for the 15 and the breakout. Well, now the 8 has been pushed into a much more difficult position. And Derek has basically 1 ball to shoot, unless he wants to play the 11 and try to carry it in off the 13. I think that's what he just told Nick he's going to do, and I think that's a fairly good choice. You just got to be careful you don't catch the 13 too heavy here, and it runs into the 4. Oh, no, I guess it was safe all the way. I'm sorry. You know, I wonder if there's any way he can tuck him under the 1 ball, play safe right now. He's called the 6 in the side. I guess he can eventually play safe if he wants to. He actually played safe accidentally. Derek's looking through the gap between the 5 and the 6 to see if he can make the 10. I don't think he can. He probably can hit the 14. That's on the left long rail. Might be the only ball he can contact directly. But it looks like he's going to get the jump cue out and shoot the 10. Well, he hit it on the fly, and that's why the 10 didn't go. It was a pretty good effort, though. Didn't really sell anything out here. Sure, Nick can make the 7 in the side, but he's still got that 1-4 to deal with. Looking to see if the 6 goes in the side as a possible ball to use to break the cluster open. Might shoot the 6 in the corner here because the 11's there for help, and he might be able to run into the cluster. I think that is what he's called. No, it's called a 2-ball. Ball. Not sure if he's got enough angle to slide up there and open that 13. That's what he wanted to have. Now he's getting to the point in the rack here where he's going to run out of options to open the cluster up. Maybe power draw straight across. Okay, he did have the angle. But as you can see, the 13 still has no pocket that he can access. It will go by the 2, but how are you going to get there? And what are you going to do now? And then, of course, the 8-ball. So lots of work here for either player. Actually, I think Nick's in a little better shape right now, even in the chair, than Derek is at the table. He's going to have nothing but another hard shot here. And now he's left Nick an opportunity, if he wants it, to shoot the 2 and just plow into that 1 and 4. Even though he has other balls to do it with, I think, well, maybe he's going to go out for the 5 and try to open him off of that. Yeah, that was his choice, and he needs to go another revolution, and he has got there. That's really nicely done. Just split the 1 and 4 here, but you want to get the 1 off the rail at least 6-8 inches. Oh boy, see, I'm surprised he did that, but I guess he's going to use the 7 eventually to connect them to the 1 ball, and that's not a bad choice either. Treetop him. Oh boy. Well, he can play the 7. He's going to have to. I don't think he wants to. was a very workmanlike out there by Nick. Required a lot of finesse and a lot of good decision making. And he's rewarded with the first rack. And Derek's break here, game number 2. Well, that rack took a little time because of the way the balls broke. So let's see which way Derek approaches his break shot. Looks like he's going straight on, which has been, I'd say, 90% of the players on this table have been breaking with their hand on the rail and head on like this, as opposed to the second ball break. And he slugged him. Now that's an outstanding break. Look at this table, wide open, no clusters, shots on either group, 8-ball wide open. I would probably lean to the solids here simply because of the 15-ball on the foot rail. It's only has the 9 for access, and the stop shot here gets him well underway. If the 3 goes past the 10 in the upper right pocket, he may elect to go to the 1 next. Wouldn't really matter as long as he has an angle on the 1, and possibly leave the 5 for the final ball before the 8. And that's what he's decided to do, I think. And that is the correct way to play it, because if you got 4 pockets for the 5 ball, 2 sides and 2 corners, you can get on it in any direction. I'd be surprised he's shooting it now, though. That does surprise me. There might be something about the 3 in the right-hand corner he doesn't like. I would just rather have a shorter travel with my cue ball on the ball before the 8 to the 8 than this, but you know, it still is a bar table. There's plenty of room out there. And I guess the only thing he'd want to guard against here is not getting jacked up on the 13 or not being straight in on the 3. It's kind of why I had favored, just my opinion, playing the 1-3 and leaving the 5 for my last ball, because the 5 was so easy to get on from the position of the 3. But we all have our own preferences of what we feel like, and of course the guy at the table is going to have a much better sight at the layout than I am from 30 feet away and 6 feet above it. Now he just needs to guard against running into the 11, so he may have to elevate just a little bit here, and then he's got to take a little care to the side pocket. So he's already called this cross corner, which tells me it doesn't pass the 10. And that's another reason that surprises me, that he didn't play the 1 first and go over for the 3, but let's see what he's going to do here. I think he shot himself in the foot there with his pattern on those last three. Tell you, I would go to the 10 ball here and try to have an angle where I can bounce out and kind of move the 3. You can certainly play the 11 next and, you know, just stop it or go forward a revolution and shoot the 14 in the left corner, but that's a little tight. We'll see which way he goes. I think he's going to go to the 11, but not going to be good enough. I don't know if he can get in there. If he can, he's awfully lucky. Boy, oh boy, another 1/16 of an inch and he don't make this ball. But he had enough confidence in his cue ball control to do that. He's still going to have to shoot the 11 down here in the long corner. Shouldn't be a problem for him. Well, he managed to get out. Leads in the match 2-0. And he'll be breaking here in the third game. We'll see whether Nick goes back to the second ball break as he did in the first rack. And it resulted in that big cluster on the long rail, and it took a while to sort all that out, but it looks like he's going to do it again. Maybe just a little bit more oomph this time. Definitely up the speed there. Got a much better spread. And he's got a nice open table to start. He can shoot either group. He's got shots on both solids and stripes. The only reason I think he's got to favor the stripes is the 8-ball. The solids play a lot easier because they're all in one half of the table and they all have pockets. But you've got to play stripes in order to get a shot at the 8. maybe go to the 9 from here. Didn't come quite far enough. Now he doesn't want to shoot the 9 because that's sending the cue ball in the wrong direction. He may be forced to shoot it because I don't know how steep that cut is on the 12 and whether the cue ball can miss the 8 and come around. That's what he's looking at. He could draw it into the 8. The 8 probably will just bump the 13, but I think he's decided on the 9 ball. He can cut the 15 too if it passes the 13. I think it might, but I do think the 12 is the best shot right here. Pretty sporty there. He's only got that one pocket for the 9. Still the wrong angle. I think he has to play the 15 here and get a little bit better on the 9. Again, he does not want to send that cue ball up in the kitchen. Now he's come short twice getting on the 9, so you've got to guard against going way too far here because subconsciously you say, well, I don't want to come short again. He did, but it's not going to be that bad. He can probably just pinch it, and even if it goes 2 feet, he still have a fairly routine 8 ball. May not even go that far. Okay, 3-0. OB, the official cue of the U.S. Bar Table Championship and a proud sponsor of the 22nd U.S. Bar Table Championships, along with Kamui, the official tip right here at the USBTC, and our host hotel, the Grand Sierra Resort. Well, Derek needs to win this rack to have any chance of coming through in this match. And he's breaking in the even-numbered games, which certainly isn't to his favor. He's going to have to win twice on Nick's break to have any chance to win this set, but he's going to have to win this rack, I think, to keep his hopes alive. He made a ball. think I like the stripers here. He may not. I do think the 12's the place to start here. Good shot there. Now he'll be able to keep his cue ball in this half of the table after the 10. And that should help him get through the rest of these. By the expression on his face, the 8's got him partially hooked. He's going to have to jump. Good shot. Very good shot. Didn't have much of the 8 ball to get over, but you still have to execute it. And he did that very nicely. Yeah, I like swinging around here with low right, 2 rails to the center of the table. I mean, he can follow forward too if he wants, but I think his choice is to go around. And that'll work. He played the rack beautifully. He had to execute that little jump shot. But other than that, his pattern was correct and well thought out and well executed, so he gets on the board. And now he needs Nick to give him a little help and make a turnover. But Nick still with a pretty big advantage here, 3-1 in breaking. I'd like to remind everybody once again that it would be well worth your time to take a look at the Bad Boys Club on badboysbp.com. Our superb tournament direction team here, same people that run Derby City, Rick and Bonnie Jones. And they have $25 gets you a yearly membership in the Bad Boys Club. And they have monthly drawings for things like OBQs and Cyclop pool balls and magic racks and cue cases and even a diamond pool table. So check it out, badboysbp.com. tell you what I'm doing here, I think, because he really doesn't have a solid to shoot, and if he has to take the stripes, I would shoot the 4 into the 2 and play the 13 right now. Table's open, you can do that. He still will have a problem with the 12 that's down here tied up with the 6, but if he plays solids, what is he going to do with the 2 ball, and what does he shoot first? So again, the lay of the balls is going to dictate what group he takes, unless there's something that he sees that we haven't. Maybe I see it wrong and he can split the 13-2 with the cue ball. Yeah, that's what he did. But either way, he had to take that group. So now his next order of business is going to be finding a way to open up the 12. Or possibly shoot one of the stripes into the 6 and play the combination, or I think is probably just going to run into it now after making the ball in the side. Run into the 6, push the 12 towards the pocket, and you will have the 15 and the 11 for insurance balls. I would have liked that 12 to get a little even further to the pocket, even go in, because the access to it now is a little tight. I think if he was right about where the 11 is, he would have his shot at the 12. But he can't shoot the 11 and stop unless he banks it. So he's probably going to go to the 10. And then the 15 on the opposite side, which will connect him to the 12. But the 12 to the 8 is going to be a little bit touchy depending on the angle. He would like to be able to shoot that 15 in the side, stop, and then you'll have the 3-rail angle to get down in the kitchen for the 8 ball. He did not get straight in. I mean, the distance between the cue ball and the 12, another foot's not going to make a difference. It's all about holding the angle here. So I think at best he can do is just dig down a little bit, punch this in, let the cue ball slide to the left about a foot. If he can hold it there, he'll still have the right angle for the 12 3 rails. What you just have to guard against here is making sure you get beyond the side pocket after you hit the 3rd cushion. So you want to catch ball and rail here almost simultaneously, maybe a little more ball first than rail first. Now he caught the 12 too heavy. He still made it, but you could see the cue ball went right into the 3, and that's the one thing he had to guard against. And now he is in a world of trouble. Just want to remind you that should he kick at this and miss the ball altogether, he does not lose the game. Fouling on the 8 ball is just a foul unless the 8 goes in. Then it's loss of game. has actually called it in the upper left. And this is one you got to kick out to make one rail. You can't go off the bottom rail and catch it coming out. I think it's just too far off the rail for that. It'll be much harder to judge because it's probably close to a ball's width off the rail. You can see he's looking at it one rail, kind of right at the number. This is just what Derek was hoping for, was at least one opportunity this game to steal one and maybe break and tie the match up. Well, Nick's position error from going from the 12 to the 8 cost him the rack. So Derek now has a chance to break and tie the match at 3. He trails 3-2. Not too early to start maybe thinking about your plans for the BCA Pool League National 8-Ball Championships in July this summer at the Rio. And as I guess a lot of you already now know, because it was just announced about a week ago, CSI will be also putting on a U.S. Open 8-Ball and a U.S. Open 10-Ball championship there on 7-foot diamond tables, and they will also be Mosconi points events, Mosconi Cup points events, as are the 3 events here. Excuse me. And those will be, those U.S. Opens will be 128 player limited fields. And you can find out a little bit more about that at playcsipool.com. He cracked those really good too. I mean, hard to believe something didn't go. Well, this is really all about, can I take solids? And the reason I want solids, obviously, is the 8-ball is tied up with 2 solids and it has no pocket. But does he have a solid to start with? It doesn't look like the 5 will go on the side. If it does, it's probably the ball he must play. Well, the issue now is if he were to stop there, play the 7, stop, shoot the 4 to bump the 6 open, he's got to be very careful where he moves the 6 so he has a shot at it, because he really doesn't have another insurance ball. So it looks to me like he's chosen to shoot the 2, perhaps trying to move the 3. I'm not sure why he would want to move the 3. Maybe he just wants to play it next. And maybe I'm deceived by the lay of the balls from where I sit, and possibly a stop shot on the 4 will access the 6 in the other corner. And of course that will make the play of the rack so much more easier. And I'd almost have to think that that's the case, or Derek wouldn't have done what he did by starting with by shooting the 2 in that last shot. So that's the theory, at least at this point. Probably going to try to go to the 1 from here. And if I said Derek, I'm sorry, I meant Nick. This late in the week, I think you're going to have to allow me a couple of blunders, folks. took care of those just the way they needed to be taken care of. Excellent shot selection, excellent cue ball control, and an excellent result. So he's on the hill now, and he will be breaking for the match. And the cue ball is kicked in again. Boy, we have seen that over and over again this week. And Derek once again with an opportunity to win one on Nick's break. And should he do so, he would be breaking to tie the matchup and force a hill-hill game. I think you've got to take stripes here because you got to move the 9 or you can't make the 8. And it might start right there, yeah, and stop there and then shoot the 15 up in the corner. I think the 9's the right shot. He may not think so, but I think a lot of it depends on if he can make the 9 and not move the 8. But he's going to kill this with inside, I think, and go to the 12 next and then to the 11 after that. Oh, he missed the whole ball, but he didn't foul because he hit the 12 and got a rail. Wow. I'm not sure I really agree with the shot selection there. I think there were 2 other paths he could have chosen. I have no idea what he's looking at. think he's looking at maybe the 6-4 in the side off the 9, but his concern is that the 8 may go in the corner if he plays that shot. It is the only offensive shot I see that would give him a chance to stay at the table and possibly complete a run out. He's still got to deal with the 3 ball. But I believe this is the right shot. You're just going to have to be careful with your speed. And he has called the 4 on the side. Pretty sure the 8 will get driven into the cushion. I think it's throwing into the cushion. And from this angle, it will throw even further. But he missed the carom off the 9. Pretty fortunate if the cue ball stopped, would Derek can go right through the gap here and play that 15. Sure looks like he can. Especially after whiffing on the 10 ball before and getting lucky to not foul. And now he's made more problems for himself. I've seen Derek play over the years, and he's a much better player than he's demonstrating right now. Maybe he doesn't play as much as he used to, but he's a quality player. Just seems to be a little bit unsure of what he wants to do on each shot. Now I think he's got enough angle to possibly go into the 5 or the 13 with the cue ball, and he's got the 12 where he's standing as his insurance ball. It's kind of now or never to break these up. I would try to move the 5 here. I wouldn't try to move the 13. See, that's the danger of going at it like that. Now it's possible the angle laid where he couldn't just roll straight into it. Might have had too much of the object ball. Now he's got one last chance to break these open, and it's right now with a center left cue ball and come right at the 2 balls, right at the 5-13, and just get separation, because the 11 is still be accessible if he gets pretty stuck up here. And that looks like what he's doing. That's better. Oh, let him see it. Well, that's again part of the result of failing to do what he wanted to do several innings ago. And now he's probably got nothing but safe. Don't know that there's a pocket for this ball. Yeah, well, thinks there is cross corner. He ain't happy. I think Nick can maybe just access the 2 ball from right there. And once he does that, it looks like the 7 will also go. Maybe not next, but it looks like it'll pass the 11. where are you going, Nicholas? That's like a foot and a half too far. Might have been just a little too much adrenaline knowing you were about to win the match. And now it's not such a certainty. He's going to have a real thin cut in the side here. I don't think he has any scratch risk in the lower right, but depending on the speed of the shot, he'll have to watch out maybe for a 3-rail scratch. I'm not sure that's in the equation, but you just got to be aware of the possibility here. Can't really baby this either because you don't want to risk any possible skid. And you're cutting it so thin, you've got to give it enough to get it to the pocket as well. Shots like that 8-ball Nick had most of the time, if you miss that, you'll miss it the way he missed it. You undercut it. You almost have to, in your mind, play to overcut the ball. But nevertheless, Derek with a great chance here to steal a game and stay alive. Oh, no. Oh, no. Nick's not going to be in such a hurry here. I don't blame him, because he did not really expect to be out of his chair this rack again. But this one ball here will win him the match. And he's done it, albeit with a little of assistance from his opponent. But it's a 5-2 win for Nick Kruger from Canada. Derek will now enjoy the left side of the chart. And we're going to temporarily sign off here for a little less than 30 minutes. And I'm going to go up front and see what we got coming up for you at 5:30. As soon as I know, we'll come back, let Andy know. We'll put the graphic up. So stand by, everybody. You're watching the 22nd U.S. Bar Table Championships live from the Grand Sierra Resort. Stand by.